So I take this opportunity to thank Niti Aayog to give us this opportunity to share the experience that we have had in the state of Himachal Pradesh. I also want to place my thanks to all the senior colleagues who are present here and all the colleagues from other states who are here, sir. So in the interest of time, I will be skipping some part of my presentation, and I'll be very focused and make a very small presentation. Basically, in the state of Himachal Pradesh, what we wanted to do last year was I wanted to create a master database, a mother of all database, which could provide as a single source of truth. And in that quest, we already had the PDS database and the database of Parivar register, which is maintained by the Rural Development Department. And initially what we started doing was that we used the artificial intelligence mechanism to make these two databases talk. And the exercise was not very fruitful. Thereafter, we tried to look and explore what are the other means by which we could create this kind of a social registry. And the first proposal that came to us was, why not go in for a RFP? Why not do a tendering process? Because this will take a lot of time and energy. And let us do a tendering process. And we were not very keen on a tendering process, and we thought that we had so much of data which is with us. So why we cannot use some other means of creating this social registry for the state of Himachal Pradesh? Next slide, please. So these are the various set of databases that we had, and we initially thought that it is the PDS database and the Parivar registered database that we should take up. And then we looked at the model which Haryana had adopted. So in case of Haryana, they had done a de novo exercise, and they had placed their reliance on the Parivar registered database, which is with the Rural Development Department. And then we looked at the Karnataka model, where they had used the PDS database. And then we were very fortunate to have Mr. Rajiv Chawla, hand-holding us. And then in the state of Himachal, we decided that we will go in with the PDS database, because there were already more than 74 lakh entries which were there, and most of these entries were Aadhaar seeded. Next. We can skip this. Next. So when we had decided that it is the PDS database that we have to use, then there was a strategy that we adopted in the state of Himachal, and or you can say this was the aspiration that we had, is to create a 100% Aadhaar seeded EKYC compliant PDS database. And in order to do this, presently there is a massive exercise which is going in field, wherein we are using this PDS database, and we are actually verifying the entries which have already been Aadhaar seeded. The second step is to run a parallel exercise, because we have the Parivar registers in Himachal, and to see how much of this data is actually Aadhaar compliant. And the third stage, once we have done this, we would want the integration of these two databases, and then we will link it with other databases. And then we would use these databases basically for better targeting, entitlement based approaches, and also to remove inclusion and exclusion errors. Next. So presently in the state of Himachal, we are executing two major activities in the field at the grassroots. The first activity is all the fair price shops have been activated, and the PDS database, which already existed, is being verified with the Aadhaar entries. And people are actually coming to these PDS shops, and people are, we are checking whether the entries which are there in the PDS database are as per the Aadhaar databases. And the second exercise which is going on is the panchayat secretaries of the gram panchayats. They also have access to this database, and they are comparing this database which is available to them, which is the PDS database, and they are comparing it with the database which is there on the Parivar register. Next. And I am happy to share that in all the 5,085 fair price shops in the state of Himachal. We started this activity very recently. We started this on 7th of May, and we took 3 to 4 days for training the fair price shop owners. And we have given, they already have these biometric devices. What we have done in the state of Himachal is the Department of IT has created a software by which the verification of these of people who are coming to fair price shop is getting done at the grassroots level. And I am happy to share that out of 74 lakh 4 lakh people who are there in the state of Himachal, we have been able to cover about 14 lakh people, and we have verified the entries which were existing in the PDS database with the Aadhaar entries which are there. And the other thing that we have done is, out of these 14 lakh entries which we have verified, we have found that about 8.3 lakh records were already eKYC compliant. So they were already in compliance with whatever entries were there in Aadhaar. But still, about 5.5 lakh records, they had to be replaced. And the way we had created this software was that the fair price shop owner, he asks the person who has come to his fair price shop, if there is a mismatch in the data which is there in the PDS records and the data which is there in the Aadhaar, he asks them whether you want to replace your data with the data which is there in the Aadhaar. If he says yes, it is done on the spot. So this is how we have been able to also make these 5.5 lakh entries which are 100% Aadhaar compliant now. And what we have done in the state of Himachal is, we have not gone for any public tendering process, and we have not involved any third party to do this work. This is an in-house exercise which is being carried out at the field level. What we have done is, we are giving an incentive of 4 rupees to per entry, per verification, to the fair price shop owner, and there is a lot of enthusiasm there. Next. This I have already shared. Next. The parallel activity, as I was saying, is also going in the field currently, which is of comparing the PDS database with the parivar register. And in this, we are taking the help of the panchayat secretaries, and the software that we have created has given access to the panchayat secretaries not only of the database of their own parivar register, but also that of the PDS. And they are doing the PDS and parivar register database matching. And as of now, about 44,000 entries have been done on this. So there is a slight lag on the exercise which is being done at the panchayat secretary level for the parivar register, but the pace is picking up. And next slide, please. And the target that we have set for us is that by the end of by the end of next month, which is 30th of June, we would want to have 100% verification of the PDS entries, and by 15th of July, we would want to have 100% verification of the parivar registered database. And when we do this, the experience of Himachal presently is, when we are comparing these databases, these two databases, we find that there are certain entries which get perfectly matched. So for these, they are golden records for us. But then there are certain entries which are found in the PDS, but they are not in the panchayat register or the parivar register. So we raise a red flag there, because there is a concern. We don't do anything else, but we raise a red flag. And in the third category is data mismatch, where we have entries in the parivar register where the data is not matching. So we again raise a flag there, so that further correction can be done on this. Next slide, please. So as I have stated, our target is to complete this entire exercise by July, by next month. And initially, we thought that this must be a Herculean exercise. But we have seen that, the kind of handholding that we have got from Mr. Rajiv Chawla, once the vision and the path was clear, so we are now executing this at a very, very fast pace. And in fact, I must also place on record the support that I am receiving from the Department of Food and Public Distribution in Himachal and Department of Rural Development. Both these agencies, we are working in tandem, and from the Department of IT, we are steering this project. And once this social registry is created, these two databases we are able to verify and we are able to merge and join, thereafter the next step would be to link it with other schemes and other databases. Thank you.